Good afternoon, Joe Victor with Allendale Incorporated, the closing commentary for March 24th on a Wednesday. And of course, one thing, get a piece of paper and some pencil out. And then is, of course, we're going to give you the weekly export, the sales report for tomorrow morning at 7:30, and estimates did come out this afternoon for wheat. They're looking for 250 to 450,000 tons. Last week we did 439,000 for the corn. 550 to 750 is the trade estimate. And of course, at 7:30 tomorrow morning, the USDA is going to have to work with a week ago values, 748,000. Trade estimating 300 to 550,000 tons, and of course that compares to last week, both old and new crop at 739,000. Meal 75 to 150,000 is the trade estimate, and of course that compares to last week's 158,000. Of course, on the oil, soybean oil, we did 18.4 thousand tons, and of course trade is looking for somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 15,000 tons. Today we did see the corn market higher, beans lower. Primarily what we did see is more of a technical in nature, and that is technically the corn needed to have some short covering instilled upon itself, and as well as look at new crop corn versus new crop beans. Ratio right now, when you're looking at November beans versus December corn, you're looking at a ratio of about 2.35 to 1. We'd like to see that ratio more of parity level of 2.15 to 2.2 to 1. And of course, we are seeing a little bit of that due diligence today, and that is where the trade is going ahead and reducing soybeans. We know seasonality suggests that the corn market starts higher, and of course at 12 to 12:30 today, we did see a number of the private weather forecasters, even though expecting some warmer temperatures coming into the northwestern corn belt as well as the central corn belt. Look at that 2-week forecast, and it's calling for above normal precip along with below average temperatures. Not good for evaporation. Of course, we'd like to get started in the central corn belt at least by the middle of April if we can. And of course, seasonally we know that corn usually takes off first and then soybeans behind it. Allendale has posted and will be posting tomorrow morning, and that is on the grain fundamentals page, both quarterly grain stocks as well as prospective planted acres. And of course that prospective planted acres is a result of our 21st annual farmer driven survey, and again you'll find that tomorrow morning on grain fundamentals one page. The other thing that we did produce today and invite you to go to the Allendale Advisory Report on the internet, and that is a free report, the dollar versus corn futures. And not only does it have the dollar versus corn, but it has dollar versus wheat as well as crude oil as a mix in there, and something that we want you to go ahead and take a good hard look at, and of course give us your opinion as to what you feel that report is offering to you. As far as the cattle are concerned, a little bit higher on the day. Technical short covering after a big day down yesterday, and of course after the cattle on feed report that was released last Friday, we have seen tremendous losses. Open interest did come under pressure again Tuesday, and of course today anticipating a little bit of short covering only because the feeder cattle were higher most of the day and finally did bring the fats into a little bit of a scope of technical recovery, with the hogs lower on the day. And again, you're looking at basically demand-driven type market that we suggest and have been suggesting. Go ahead and get those hogs hedged, but at the same point in time, demand is just not showing up. Any questions or comments, feel free to give us a call. We're asking you to go ahead and take a look at the trade recommendations that are on corn, beans, wheat, cattle, hogs, softs, energy markets. Take a look at that within our Allendale On The Go that we release via email every day of the week. Feel free to give us a call, 800-2-MARKET. This is Joe Victor with Allendale Incorporated. Be back with you tomorrow morning. Thank you and have a good evening.